Hello, this is Abigail Barella with Sparkle and Shine Guidance, and this is your full moon in Taurus moon oracle. And this is happening Pacific Standard Time, 5:34 a.m. on Tuesday. We have a really interesting dynamic happening the day before that I'm going to talk about on Monday, which is 11/11, which is kind of cool with numerology, and the fact that we're having really significant Mercury in the Mercury Retrograde that we're in, which we will be in until November 20th. We are having Mercury come and create a cazimi with the sun. And why this is interesting or important is that it's going to highlight whatever processing that we're doing with this Mercury retrograde, which is in the deep depths of the watery stillness of Scorpio. The sun is our conscious awareness, our ego, and when Mercury's processing and coming conjunct right in front of that sun, it's going to bring things to our consciousness, and sometimes in an uncomfortable way, around where we're needing to do the inner work, where we're needing to create better communication, where we're being asked to bring things into the conscious mind from the subconscious mind. And again, this can happen in many different ways that are not very comfortable. I think it's very cool that it's happening on 11/11, and then the next day we'll be moving into that full moon. We'll actually be in the energy of that full moon when that cazimi happens. So this full moon, it's in 19 degrees of Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. Any of the earth signs have to do with stability, foundations, practicality, but Taurus is a lot more, because it's ruled by Venus, it's a lot more around our sensual needs, our money, our personal boundaries, our desires, okay? And because of that, you're going to want to know where 19 degrees of Taurus is in your chart, and it's a great opportunity and time to schedule a reading with me. This is a powerful time. All the clients that I'm working with right now, I'm like, you're getting some good stuff, because things are on point with this Mercury retrograde just coming forward and creating this healing pathway for us. Even though it's uncomfortable, it frees us up and creates all this energy for new things to come in. So when you're ready to do the work, it's like we can be dragging our heels on something, and then all of a sudden we do the work and we're like, oh, the amazing other things happen, right? So anyway, Taurus has to do with our personal boundaries, our personal needs for security, stability, all of those things, okay? So knowing where that's happening for you. And the interesting thing is, so anytime we have a full moon, I've talked about this many times, it's a polarity point. This one highlights a feminine polarity between that stubborn need for boundaries and stability in Taurus, and in Scorpio, really wanting alchemy and communion with another to create that alchemy, relating with another, that depth of intimacy and that juiciness that happens in those more taboo areas of our life around dealing with others and creating that connection with others. So there's that polarity between going into those more magical, kind of like mixing our energies together and creating magic together, and community, because even though 8th house is a mysterious house and it's kind of about secrets, and Scorpio is kind of those things and the occult, it also is community in that, and sharing secrets with another and having that intimacy together. And Taurus is about like, I just want my needs met, and I just want my boundaries to be intact, and I just want to feel, and I just want to taste, and I just want to be in the moment. And so because of that, this polarity is a lot about things coming to consciousness, things being cleared out around our issues, around sharing resources, sharing intimacy, doing the alchemical work of looking at things. And I just did a post about, like, basically, you know, Scorpio is about the scorpion and the poison in the tail of the scorpion. And when we can realize that we are both the scorpion and the one that gets stung by the scorpion. We're all those things. There is no victim, there is no perpetrator in the grand scheme of things. Now, I'm not saying that people don't have to take responsibility. This is actually where we're being asked at this full moon to take responsibility for things like even from past lifetimes, even from time periods where we thought we were in the right, we thought what we were doing was in the right, but we actually need to take personal responsibility for our emotions, our reactions to things, and how we can be in a more in alignment and create that healing so that we can share that with others and so that we can share more intimacy with others. Okay, so this is big work. Now, knowing if this is happening, so it's a polarity. So one of these is going to be more in the external world, viewed by others in the area of your chart, and one is going to be in the more internal world. And knowing which one is going to be really important for you moving forward and knowing how to work with this energy. So if you have Scorpio in the more internal, then you're diving deep into it. You're doing that deep healing work. It's a great time to work with healers. And what's being visible to others is more of your emotional, because this is the moon and it's in Taurus, it's going to be more of the emotions that are dealt with. Whereas if it's the other way around, the emotional piece might need to be reckoned with on the internal, but the deeper work happens in the external. So that's even more scary maybe. So that's also a good time to work with healers. One of the things about this energy of this full moon and it being so close to this deeper, bigger transits that are happening in 2019, one of them being the sextile with Saturn and Neptune, and the fact that Saturn is trine this full moon, the moon, and that Saturn is really about creating that restriction in order for us to do that work. So a lot of times we'll be restricted in our life and we're like, damn it, like I just want to be free and I want to just do whatever I want. And Saturn is saying like, when you can create that restriction either for yourself or due to circumstances, when that restriction comes, that's where you're really able to do the work that you need to be doing at this time, and not be just avoiding it because you have all these other things that are coming to you. So when Saturn comes in, he's about responsibility. And again, another highlight to where we need to come into consciousness, where we need to reckon with our inner shadow and bring beauty and bring insight into our life due to going into those depths. So that's really important. Also, Neptune can have to do with places where we felt victimized or where we've gone unconscious before, where we have gone into the dreamland where things have been a little bit foggy, but it also brings us to a deeper sense of spirituality. So knowing about Neptune, and if you don't know much about Neptune, just look to this last week. Neptune was really highlighted, especially with the moon coming conjunct Neptune. And so you might have had an experience where you're like, okay, I felt that fog, or I know what you're talking about. So we're really fleshing out some karmic lessons that need to be fleshed out at this time. And just remember that when you're doing it on the micro, it's affecting the macro. And I was just talking to someone else about this, that, we might feel like this feels so unfair. Like, why do I have to do this work? It's like, you're doing the work because the work is coming through you, and that's an honor, that's a gift. And so when you're able to work out on the personal, you're bringing that to the collective and vice versa. So when we know that, it's a little bit easier to understand the work and understand the alchemy that's available to us when we are the ones that are doing the work for the collective. It's really actually a gift because we're getting to experience that magic of integration, that magic of seeing something that was once such a wound in our lives and actually being able to take it and change it into something beautiful to share with the world, or something beautiful to work with in our own lives. And that's a really beautiful thing. One of the other things is recognizing that we don't need to be so overprotective with our time, energy, resources, that really when we are in our authentic power, those things are just a given, and it's more about how quickly we rebound back into our power than it is about always being in our personal power. The other thing that I really want to let you know, that this polarity in this full moon with Mercury right there retrograding in Scorpio and the full moon in Taurus making a trine to both Saturn and Pluto, and coming closer to the Pluto Saturn conjunction that we'll have in 2020, which order your planner. They are up on my website, so definitely get your planetary planner for 2020. But one of the things that it's highlighting, this full moon, and like I said, it's this bigger culmination of 2019 transits that we've had, and then moving forward, is a question. Why do you want power? Why do you want control? Why do you want to influence others? Why do you want to do what you want to do? And this is something for us all to explore, is what is really at the core. Sure, maybe you have some message that you've always been telling yourself around why, but really when you don't understand your inspiration, when you don't understand the motivation that's really there, the inner child that's really there around wanting to have control, power, and influence in your life and other people's lives, you can't really know what's at the heart of it. And when you don't know what's at the heart of it, you can't really share or lead anyone anywhere, because you're still on the journey of finding yourself and finding your own motivation. So really at this time, it's a really good opportunity to look at the why, because we have so many leaders that are leading us in circles, or so many teachers and preachers out there that front and act like they have it all together, that lie and spew and tell you the ways to live, when in reality, what we want to do is go within and look at what our inner motivation is. What is it? And if we can understand that more, we can live more authentically, and that's ultimately what we want to do. We don't want to have leaders out there telling us what we're doing wrong, and how if we just follow A, B, and C, if we just, follow them, and if we just do this thing, then we're going to be happy. Ultimately, we need to go within and do that work. And that's what the alchemy of this full moon is really all about. So I hope you have a beautiful day. Check out my planner if you haven't already, and place your order, because I don't know beyond this pre-order how many other copies I'll have available. So definitely hit the pre-order so that when I make that big order for the planners, you'll get yours by mid-December. Super excited to share that with you. If you want to work with me on a one-on-one level, definitely reach out and we can set something up. Have a great day. Bye, guys.